I don't know about you, but I remember being in high school, maybe even in junior high, and they had us fill out these little survey questionnaires, and you fill in the little circle, and then they'd put it in some kind of 80s computer, and it would go, you should be doing this for a career.
Yeah.
That is kind of what I think we're going to be talking about today, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. Teresa Francis, tell me a little bit about your job. What is it that you do?
Well, I now work for the Nova Scotia Career Development Association.
Mm-hmm.
We're a not-for-profit membership organization for the career development community. And I don't think we any longer do quite the same as you did in high school, but I'm sure I did that too. And all of those things are a piece of the puzzle for sure.
Those guidance counselors would say, you would be great doing this, or you have an aptitude towards that. Or what, I guess the biggest question would be is, what do you want to do for a vocation when you get out of high school or college or university or whatever the training path might take you?
Well, and I think today what we're trying to do is actually get away from that question. I mean, it's still an important question, but asking somebody what they want to do when they're
what they want to be when they grow up?
Right, because now...
Some people, like me, never grow up.
No, or me either, or don't want to.
Yeah.
But it used to be that you'd have one job, one career for life, and now we change jobs so frequently and change careers so frequently. It's really, what do you want to do first? What do you want to do next? What skills do you want to develop? What skills do you want to use? What do you not want to do? Rather than trying to think about, what is that one vocation that I want to achieve for my life?
Says your title is a director of Nova Scotia Career Development Association. A director. What exactly is it that you do?
So my longer title is Director of Learning and Professional Practice.
Okay, that's pretty self-explanatory.
So we, as an organization, we don't deliver direct service to people who are looking for work or employers who are seeking employees. We support the people whose career is helping others find careers. So there are career practitioners or career development professionals all around the province, all across the country. And our job is to provide training. We provide a lot of training for them. We provide certification. So you can become a certified career development practitioner, and we provide a lot of membership supports as well. My role within that, I guess, is partly to make sure that our own team has the skills and the competencies that they need to be able to do that work, and to also work in terms of helping to develop professional practice across the province.
So these folks that you're searching for or seeking out, do they all end up working for you, or do they work for different employers? I'm wondering how, if you're looking for these counselors or guidance individuals, career guidance individuals, where their path takes them.
Oh, good question. So we have about 800 members, and a chunk of those members, I would say, are employed in career development services centers across the province. So they would be, I'm going to say, third party. They're funded by the Nova Scotia government, but they offer services within communities all around the province. They would be our members, but as well, there are career development professionals who work in post-secondary institutions, who work as guidance counselors in the public school system, who may work in in private practice, who might work. Now we're finding out more as career development becomes, I guess, more noticed. The importance of it becomes more noticed. We're seeing that other roles, like people who work with youth, let's say, or helping to find housing, they're also doing a little bit of career development off the side of their desks, because we know that work is that thing that supports everything else.
I guess going back to that analogy of a guidance counselor helping you find your career path, that directing other people to their careers probably isn't an option given to many people when that is presented to them. That when you're thinking about a profession, a vocation, helping other people find a vocation or develop their skills isn't something that jumps to top of mind. In some ways.
No, do you mean to do that as a career?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you grow up wanting to be, did you even hear about a career like this
No.
No.
Like most of us in the field, I fell into it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you ask those of us who are in the field, pretty much like I don't know if I know anyone who would say, oh yes, I chose that and I worked towards it.
Right.
Most of us do fall into it because we don't know that it exists until we need it and we seek it out.
Right. Do you find there's a characteristic or a trait that runs through the people in your profession, the people that you work with, the people who are members of this association? Is there any kind of thread on that? Because I think if you look at nursing or healthcare, like there's an empathy, or if you like working with your hands, that might take you down a career path. I'm just kind of trying to find out here how people find this career, what it is that they need to know about themselves.
I think the people who would find their way to this career, some people have sought out career supports themselves, right? And they think, oh, wow, okay, that was so helpful to me. This is the kind of thing I want to do for other people. And I think the kind of people who come into our profession, they care. They're interested and curious about people's lives. You know, not nosy, but they're interested in hearing people's stories. They're problem solvers and solution finders, so they can help individuals navigate systems and work towards a goal. And I think they're the kind of people who can instill hope in the people that they work with.
So less data-driven, more social skills in a lot of ways. You're not
yes.
Or is there a component of that as well?
There's a component of that as well, because if you work in the career development field, and so let's say you're doing frontline work, and there are a lot of different roles in the field, but if you're doing frontline work and you're working with clients one-on-one, you have to record everything that you do, and so you know, a lot of data is derived from that. But the other thing where I think data is important is in the labor market. So if you're working with a client, you know, who's seeking employment, or if you're working with an employer, you have to have a good understanding of what's happening in the labor market, where the jobs are, where the jobs aren't, who's looking for workers, that sort of thing. So there's a lot of data around that piece as well.
And I'm sure that's changed, like many things in our lives, after the pandemic, or since the pandemic, or because of the pandemic, or the way that the labor market has changed. I'm sure that there's been a learning curve there for you and everyone in that career, traditional career.
Yeah,
well.
it's true. And the labor market is constantly shifting. So I think one of the challenges is you receive you know, labor market information, but by the time you receive it, it's probably already a year or two old, right? Because it's changing. I actually just came from a conference, and the session that I left was two economists from the Nova Scotia presenting on the labor market, and you know, they look at it quarterly, or at least in their presentation, and you know, you can see, we know that demographics are shifting, that the older worker is becoming a larger group, and we also know that more of them are wanting to remain in the workplace and wanting to stay longer. We know that the youth market is shrinking, and then in terms of jobs themselves, we know that trades, we know there's a great need in trades. We know there's a great need in the healthcare sector. So we can look at those pieces as well.
When I was approached about having a conversation about this and what it is that you do and the association that you're involved with, and again, to get the name right, it's the Nova Scotia Career Development Association, and a certified career development practitioners are the people in that field. And I'm wondering from you what it is that you are hoping that this conversation will help educate or enlighten people about.
That's a good question too. I think for me, and the reason I was, you know, interested in coming here is, I think it's two things. One, we want people to know that this is a career option. The people who work in this field do have to become well-trained, well-educated, highly skilled. We want them to know that you can actually become certified, but you don't have to do training up front to become certified, you can actually learn your skills and competencies on the job. And then once you reach a certain level of skill and competency and have been in the field long enough, then you can go through a certification process to verify those skills.
So what is that designation? Is it an agency, a board?
It's issued by the NSCDA, or the Nova Scotia Career Development Association, and it is a CCDP, so Certified Career Development Practitioner.
Okay.
And we're actually in the process of being involved nationally to have a national designation.
So it's not a life coach, but a career coach.
Yes, yes. And then the other thing that I would say talking about reasons why I am here is because I think still the services of career development professionals aren't well enough known, and that if you're seeking work, if you're seeking change, if you're a student, if you're any age and stage of life, that you can seek out support and assistance in taking next steps or exploring making those very important decisions.
As you say, it's a world away from where you get out of your university and you go to a job and you stay there and then you retire and then you enjoy life afterwards. We're all pivoting.
Absolutely.
Pivot.
Yes. Yes, we help you pivot.
And the best place for people to go to learn more about this, and if they are interested in becoming a part of the program, how do they do so?
They can contact us
Okay.
at the NSCDA. So you can, our website is www.nscda.ca. And on that website, you can find certification, and there's an email address, phone number. You can contact us directly.
And how many of these career folks are out there, did you say, in the province right now?
Oh,
Several
gosh.
hundred?
We have 800 members,
800?
and we know that there are more people out there. I think a stat I saw from a piece of research recently was probably around 1,000, 1,200, possibly even more than that. Yeah, working in the field in various roles.
Well, it's a very interesting field that I hadn't really thought about until we had the chance to be introduced. So is there anything else that I didn't talk about today that you wanted to mention?
Well, no, I guess I just say if you're ever looking for, a career change or a shift,
give me a call.
Come see us.
Teresa, thank you so much for this. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Awesome.